Hi, my name is Willow, and today I'm going to be reviewing Warcross by Marie Lu. And I basically just finished this and was like, alright, gotta film a review. I really need to talk about this book because it was great. So I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It was wonderful and I loved it so much, but it wasn't perfect. I think that's definitely something that will be smoothed out as other books in the series come out. And I have read an entire trilogy by Marie Lu, so I sort of know how she can develop her stories and everything. Though of course this book just came out, so it's been many, many years since her other books, the Legend trilogy, which is what I've read by her, have come out. But still, I am so excited for the other volumes because I know, knowing her writing, that her books just get better by each book. Like, I literally sobbed so hard at the end of Champion, which is the last book in the Legend trilogy. So I'm so excited for the next installments, and oh my god, it was just so great. And if you didn't know, this book sort of takes place in the future where there's this sort of like VR type of game that everyone is obsessed with. Essentially, it's all that anyone does on the internet in this future, and a young boy actually created it, a sort of prodigy genius type kind of guy. And it features our main character, Emika Chen, who is a hacker. And that's all I want to say about this because it's just so good, and if you go in not really knowing, you sort of like immerse yourself into this world, it's just so excellent. I'd say it's sort of like Ready Player One meets The Hunger Games, but with less death, if that makes sense. But I love it so much, and that's all I'm gonna say for not spoiling anything, because I really, really want to talk about all of the elements in this book because it was so good. But I definitely recommend picking this up if you haven't already, and if you have, please start a discussion in the comments down below after you watch this video because I really, really want to talk about this book. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the diversity of this book. It's so casually there and it feels so natural. So I come from Vancouver, which is a very multicultural area, and my own brother has a physical disability. So that sort of diversity is just something that's in my everyday life. I know it's not like that for everyone around the world, but for me it is. And honestly, I think as a society, that is how we're going to advance, is by, you know, being diverse and all that stuff. But that is a whole other conversation. Anyway, it just felt so natural, you know? Like how it was so casually dropped without any sort of like, ooh, this is sort of new and different and weird thing about Roshan and Tremaine's relationship. And the fact that one of the main supporting characters is in a wheelchair, like, that is insane. I've never read a book where one of the main supporting characters or any of the main-ish characters that we have is someone with a physical disability and it's not treated as something weird, and that's not what the book's about. So I'm just so incredibly elated by that. And the cast of characters themselves aren't all white people, which is awesome. And yeah, I just love the diversity in this book. It's absolutely amazing. Now to talk about characters, our main character, Emika Chen, she's very fierce and she makes rash decisions like a lot of female main characters in young adult books, but I found her to be a little less annoying than most of those other female characters. But I just love the fact that she's got like a full sleeve of tattoos and she's got rainbow colored hair, and she accepts the fact that she's smart without trying to dumb herself down at any point, at least any point that she doesn't need to further advance herself in her task. And I just love her like gives no fucks attitude. It's really great, and I really loved having her as main character, though she did get a little bit frustrating at times, you know, like I said, she makes rash decisions and she kind of does whatever she wants. And now moving on to Hideo, I think as a love interest, he's sort of a wet blanket. Like he's sort of like that typical like, I'm a man, but I'm also nice and gentle and smart. I don't know if that makes sense or if that was a bit weird, but he's sort of like that typical love interest, and at the same time he sort of doesn't show his emotions really at all. And I know he's been through a lot of trauma and everything, but I just found him to be quite a wet blanket for a love interest. However, him and Zero being the villains of this story, it was just so interesting to have that. You know, I was thinking in the back of my mind reading the story, like, I feel like Hideo's gonna do something and we're not gonna expect, I don't know, maybe not. And with Zero near the end, I sort of had a suspicion. I was like, I think he could be his brother. But then I was like, no. But his brother isn't dead, so maybe, I don't know. So we aren't sure at the end of the novel, of course, if Zero is Sosuke. However, if Zero is Sosuke, then we have those two brothers colliding against each other, and they both feel like they're doing the greater good, and they're both trying to stop the other from ruining what they think is the greater good. So it's sort of like that villain complex. I wrote a whole paper on villains and why we can almost feel sympathy for them, but at the same time not really, because people make their choices, but also there's a way of making a villain. There's always the backstory behind a villain. Like, according to mythology, even demons were angels once in heaven. So there's always that sort of backstory of becoming the villain, and I think it was so interesting to sort of see that unfold in Hideo's character and to see what Zero's motives actually were. So I really love that aspect of the book because we don't normally get villains like that in young adult, and I think it's just a really refreshing change from what we usually get, so I really loved that. Something I also loved a lot was all the gaming terminology. Like, it wasn't just like random words or whatever that were made up and thrown around a lot in the story with all the power-ups and the different abilities and everything. It gave me a very like old video game vibe, almost like playing a single player magical sort of involves powers kind of old school game. And it sort of gave me vibes like in Pokemon, you'll have your different moves and everything, and you'll have things you can use to make yourself stronger and whatnot. And obviously that is a feature that is prominent in a lot of one-on-one battle games. So I really love seeing that. And along with that, I am a sucker for VR stories. I absolutely loved Ready Player One, like, so much. Yes, I know there's all that manic pixie dream girl stuff, but I loved the story so much, and I love how this sort of concept was taken in Marie Lu's story of this like VR thing that is taken over the world and sort of like revolutionized everyone. I myself actually have an idea for a VR taking over everyone's lives sort of thing, though it is quite different from this one and Ready Player One, of course, because I'm not an idiot and I'm not going to write the same story as someone else. But anyway, I just love how this game had a sort of Hunger Games twist to it, but as I said at the beginning of this video, Hunger Games but without the death. And like I said, I love the idea of taking VR, which is quite a newer technology for us, and expanding it in this sort of like Black Mirror-esque lens, because I love Black Mirror, the TV show, so much, and I firmly believe that 90% of all the stuff in Black Mirror will come true. But anyway, I'm going off topic. I just love the concept of this story, and I love what Marie Lu did with it. And like I gushed about at the beginning of this video, I am so excited for the next installments. Like, oh my gosh, I have been anticipating this book ever since it was announced, and now that I've read it, I need more. So it's just so great. And going back to Emika, I also really love the fact that our female main character is someone who's really into like STEM and everything, and she sort of self-taught herself. And something that I really loved about her character as well was that her father was her sort of like guiding light through this whole thing, and I really liked that because a lot of the times in YA we don't get a lot of family interaction. If we do, it's very negative, and the character usually talks about it for a little bit and then pushes it away. Especially in a series, it's usually like, oh, we'll mention the parents of this character in the first book, but then we just won't care about them until the finale. So I just really loved how much her dad and how much family really played a part in this book. And all in all, before I ramble on too much more and make this video a million years long, I just really love this book and I can't wait for the next ones. And I love Marie Lu as an author even more now that I've read this. And I highly recommend this book. And I'm probably not going to stop talking about it for a very long time. And I think that it's definitely going on my favorites list for this year because I just loved it that much. And otherwise, if you watched this video and you read this book, please leave a comment down below. I would love to talk about it in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Most of my book reviews are me just gushing, and this was an especially gushy one. So if you made it to the end, I applaud you. But once again, thanks so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and you can subscribe to my channel over here. You can check out some of my other videos over here. And otherwise, I will see you soon in my next video. Bye!